Hello and welcome to analyze some 4 kilobyte magic. In the studio we have
Waffle of Youth Uprising.
we have a Piggy of Darklight.
And Frankie, the local beer baron.
Homer of Disco Meets.
Cool. Frankie, you specifically asked me not to talk about the first 5 entries. Talk about the first 5 entries.
I'm sorry. It was every competition can have a slow start. I think this specifically had, and it was really until it was the there was the DTT entry.
Yeah, DTT.
The DTT, but we all agreed that it should be the DDT entry and have yelling Amiga and running around with Amiga logos.
Yes.
But the competition in general was, I found it quite a slow start, and what I really missed is that I wanted to see the file sizes with the entries, because I want to know how many of these are just over 1K, because most of them had just one effect, and was it the music that put them over, or I would really like to know that.
Yeah.
Any other comments on the first 5?
Yeah, well, I have the same feeling that I would really have liked to know the file size, because most of them had like one effect, maybe 2 effects, but the really only difference between the 1K compo and the 4K compo was the music. So in Windows entries they had the software synthesizers, but for 4Ks, but in 1K they had the general MIDI, so it wasn't that big of a difference. But I really like to comment about the 5th entry, which was rather okay. It was called
Decoloring Darkness.
Yeah, Decoloring Darkness. I wrote down to my little note sheet that it was rather trippy.
Are we talking about the one with the coder colors?
Not with the coder colors, but it was some sort of a matrix effect and cloud stuff.
It was a bit like the old sort of colors, the palette cycling that you do in the good old days.
Yeah, it was trippy. Nothing else.
Yes, but you need to be in order to enjoy trippy things, you need other paraphernalia to get into the mood. So.
Yeah, that might be.
And I have no idea how to pronounce your nick, so it's go ahead.
Homer.
First 5 entries.
Yeah, the first 5. I know. Well, there were some really good ideas in some of them, but they were just lacking too much to be really enjoyable. But
so this is actually an interesting topic. I was going to come to that a bit later, but since you brought it up, let's bring it up. 1K versus 4K this year. What do you think?
1K was many times better than the 4K from technical standpoint of view. It was because when you look at the 4Ks, mainly the intros had used the, let's say, 4-clang synthesizer in most of the entries, and then there was some other synthesizers, and everything sounded the same. It was like 4-clang is the 4K version of the general MIDI nowadays. So it sounds a bit better, but it still sounds like a general MIDI when you watch many 4Ks in a row. So
yeah, I mean, some of the 1Ks were like really artistic in a way.
Yeah,
that it just had this completely new vibe, and it might have been by accident because of the limitations, but I mean, it was just kind of cool. It just got you into this zone. Any thoughts? Other thoughts on 4K versus 1K?
As said, I want to know how much of the 4K was left in the file size, because you actually had a lot of entries with a lot of potential, and when you thought, okay, the music is building up, it's coming, the effect is finished, and it's building up towards something, and it built up towards a black screen at the end of the intro. And that's not really ending on a high note.
So you think the folks were going like, they were coding a 1K intro, and then they go like, oh crap, it's 1.5K and we can't get it done.
Well, it's prove me wrong.
Yeah. No, that's a very interesting point. It would be interesting to find out from the guys if that was actually the case. Any further thoughts on 1K versus 4K? I'll ask it this way: do you think the coders really put their effort in the 1K this year instead of 4K?
Well, judging by the competitions I've seen so far, I think so.
Yeah. So maybe maybe 1K was such a challenge that people thought that, hey, you know, I'm just going to focus on doing that and really get the most out of that instead of putting any effort in the 4K.
I don't think there were many guys who had a 1K and a 4K.
Well, actually, there was the guy called Digimind who had actually 2 entries in 4K compo and 1 entry in 1K competition. But unfortunately, I actually was also in the compostudio of 1K competition and mentioned that because the Digimind is, I don't know if he's Russian or Hungarian, but he does amazing tricks with small bytes, but somehow he ends to do the magic tricks in 1512 bytes, but when he goes to 1K or 4K, suddenly it's like normal. So it doesn't. It's nothing spectacular, so to say.
How do you feel about the fact that we don't have a 64K sort of competition now? So in a way, I mean, we have. Is there a bit of an overlap now with 1K and 4K?
Yeah, I think it's a bit overlapping because we have seen the progress in past 5 years that the 4K intros have had increased technicality and more parts, so it looks like a 64K now. But I would still like to see a 64K, but as we have seen in past few years, there has been like 2 to 3 entries, so it's not really enjoyable. You always have 1 really good entry and then 2, something from the middle.
Do you think it would be different if you only had 1K and 64K?
That might be a bit different.
Should we talk a bit about the Rustbloom demo, which in some respects, I guess, broke the kind of intro to the compo in a way, so got things going. What are your thoughts on that?
Less is more.
Yeah, I really like the design and the consistency and the timing of it.
It was like a typical Detroit techno going on, and then nice ambient soundtrack with techno is ambient soundtrack, and then it has some noise and very simple geometric effects, and everything were so smoothly synced together. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But still growing the effect bit by bit, starting with circles, then going into a square and the triangles, then you have the lines going left and right, up and down, stretching everything out, so that they really worked towards the final effect that they had, and then they ended up with everything was nice and symmetry in 4 areas.
Yeah.
Then they ended with a simple horizontal line showing a sine wave, or that you could take that for, say, the sound spectrum that faded out, and that was the end of the demo, which was design-wise great.
Yeah.
I really agree. I think it was a fantastic example of how to use the media. You know, keep it simple. Do something where you thought about the visual language first, which, I mean, it was basically a 1FX 4K thing, but that sort of developed. But that works. If you really think about, okay, this is what we're going to show, this is how it's laid out, it feels great. And you're not even thinking about, is this 4K or not? It's just a nice visual. Then we had a bit of a return to the road theme, now starting with the Flood Rain demo, intro. Any thoughts on that?
What intro?
That was number 8, so immediately following Rustbloom. No thoughts on that?
I'm trying to revisualize it, but it didn't stick, I'm sorry.
It had a bit of the original Tron film vibe. So the last intro had the latest Tron film vibe, but this one had a bit of like the original Disney Tron vibe from the early 80s.
No recollection.
No, sorry.
No.
Okay, we'll drop that one.
Thank you.
Then we saw, I don't know, if this might be the first FreeBSD 4K intro that I've seen. So that was number 11, Yog Sothoth or something.
Yeah, actually, I have one comment about was it called Yogsmith or something like that? It was really nice. It was like nice at the beginning, and then it had this totally wait for the drop moment, and suddenly the whole intro ended, and you were like, "Where's the wobble? Where's the wobble? I want the."
Where's the Norwegian wop wop?
Yeah. Where's the wobble? There was no drop, but actually it wasn't the first FreeBSD intro in the 4K competition, because I remember that in at least 2008 there was one FreeBSD intro.
I mean, nowadays, even the platform is a bit of a question mark, because I mean, a lot of this is just this GLSL stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, you basically run it on anything most of the time. By the way, who of you have coded with GPU stuff? Waffle, have you done that?
I have done some, but mainly I have done more or less CPU OpenGL stuff. So
Yeah.
not that much.
What about you guys?
I'm an organizer on the
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause it would be kind of interesting to know how much that actually helps with decreasing the size of the final product.
Well, you have with in the last 12, 18 months, you have all the shader minifiers which have come out. You have all the, and then you have your extra packers and twinklers on top of that, and you have your specific 4K soft synths.
Yeah.
So I think that the tools are out there to reduce your file size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also you can code with the shader assembly, which is like very packable sort of format. At least I have seen a few 1K intros that use the shader assembly only, and it had made a remarkable size impacts there.
Exactly. That was my thinking, that might have a big impact. Then I'm moving on to Cubetronic. People who know me know that I like flat shaded cubes. This had a lot of flat shaded cubes. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, was it the intro with the cube?
With all the cubes.
Yeah.
Inside a cube, inside a cube.
Yeah,
Yo dog.
You're up in the cube, that one, yes.
Yeah. The exhibit cube. So it was quite nice. Nothing remarkable, and the effects themselves were nice, but there was nothing new in there. I would have wanted to see something new with the cubes, although I liked cubes.
It maybe was like, okay, this is what a debris in 4K might look like. That was going to my mind, and it's opening the big cube of all the little cubes in the end. That was pretty nice, and all you had the tunnel of cubes with the shiny cube in the middle. But that gave me wanting more. Okay, put in a second cube and make it rotate, because that session went on for a couple of minutes and just went on and on and on. I was on an Amiga. I would say I hope they use this for pre-calculating the next effect, which I don't think happened here.
Yeah.
I was left wanting more as well.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the perfect cube is a flat shaded cube. It's done in 25 FPS. For some reason, that feels nice. And it zooms in like this. It's a majestic kind of moment.
Oh.
Let's go to the crowd pleaser, I think. So this was the final one, Highway by HPC, with a very strong, of course, Tron vibe to it. Let's start over there.
Well, one thing that has been shouted around us, and what we shouted ourselves while we finished watching that, 4K is the new demo compo.
So sorry, were you saying that this should have been in a demo compo?
No, I think just the level of quality in that intro was so amazing. It could have been a demo.
Okay.
We said this half an hour ago in the previous compostudio that we might want to think that putting JavaScript WebGL demos into the demo compo and just wait for the intros. I'm going to have to retract that. And because this was 4K in JavaScript.
It was, yeah.
Running in a web browser. So it was very nicely built up. You had going up to the shiny light cycle and then going back down again. During the other entries, we asked us a few times what would white light do, meaning flash the screen at the beat. And that intro did it, and it's like, yep, white light would do this. Maybe not with light cycle, but then with metal guitars. But but no. In the end, yeah, it's amazing to actually see this in certainly JavaScript and 4K browser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a nice. Well, everybody loves the movie Tron, and it has nice lights, nice bloom, the highway and the bike thing that was flashing there, and basically it was nice. And I have to say that the music itself was more bassy than any of the other soundtracks. I would say that it was not done with 4-clang synthesizer, or they had some new tricks there up their sleeves, because usually 4-clang synthesizer have this mid-tone stuff coming up, but this Tron stuff had like nice bass and sounded really nice when watching it from the arena.
Mm. I have one comment on that. I'm going to throw it to you and see if you agree. I would have left the bikes until very close to the end, so that's kind of like the final moment. So you go like, okay, it's nice, the city is nice, it changes a bit, and then you bring on the bikes to like really hit it off at the end, which goes like, I mean, that's the point where you clap, and that's like, yeah. What do you think?
Well, it would be nice, but they would have to cut the intro in half of the size, because it really didn't have anything else than the highway and the buildings and the bikes, so they would have to put it like to 1.5 minutes to do that.
It's well, we just discussed that most of the intros left us wanting for more, and this one you could clearly see, well, sorry guys, this is it, there is nothing more. we have reached the applause moment, and now we step down again until we take away the bikes, we take away the shiny, we take away the road, we take away the buildings, and there is nothing more. This is it.
Well, that's my point, that if maybe they had sort of structured it a bit differently and even extended the city a bit longer at the beginning, and then bring the bikes.
I am perfectly fine with that structure that they use now.
Okay. Which one would you choose?
I was happy with the way they put the demo together as it is now.
Okay.
Now having like the really big in-your-face thing at the end, it could work, but then the demo would have been, they would have to cut it shorter.
Yeah.
And I really like the flow of the intro as it is now. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like the bikes were such a cool moment that I would have preferred to have maybe just had a bit less of them and then just really get the feeling going out of that. Like you go like, wow, but you don't get used to the wow.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Let's round things up. Any final comments? What was your favorite?
I have to say that the Rust Bloom was my total favorite. It had everything combined together, and it was visually nice, it was musically nice, and technically it was okay, but I mainly liked the visuals and music together.
I wonder what Piggy thinks.
Piggy said that he would give 3 oinks to Highway 4K and 2 oinks to Yogsmith.
And then he's going to Bacon Academy.
Yeah, in the cliffs.
Of course. I think that the easy one would be say, well, okay, let's go for the last one with the motorcycle. But then I have to join Waffle here that it's coming as a total package of direction and looks and feel. I'm going with Rust Bloom.
I'm going with the Rust Bloom one as well. It's just the most, to me it feels the most finished and the most complete.
I'm going to join you guys. I thought for me that was the one that I would like to watch again and again, a few more times. So we have a unanimous decision. We all agree, except for Piggy. Let's beat up the Piggy.
Yeah, it's bye for you.
I'll take my hat back.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, thanks very much. It's time for some demos, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.